Great. So I'm McKenna Evans, and I'm going to be talking on a subject that I'm really passionate about, and it's just kind of trying to figure out what it's like personally to be a female entrepreneur. And the reason why I chose this topic is because I'm very passionate about business. It's something that I'm really interested in, and as a woman in business, I've known that it's predominantly a male field for so long, and I'm seeing advances for a lot of women and wanted to do some more research on it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the adversity that women face, specifically entrepreneurs. And I have a couple of statistics I want to share. These are according to Valentina Zuria. She is a journalist for Fortune magazine. And so she's talking about the 2016 gender gap in venture capitalist funding. So in 2016, 5,839 male companies, startup companies, received venture capitalist funding.
Mr. Line, please dial 1014.
And for those of you who might not know, VC or venture capitalist funding is funds that go to startup businesses when they want to generate capital so that they can go out and start businesses. So this is how many male companies received funding in 2016 compared to 359 female companies. And as you can see, that is a major difference. And a lot of people can wonder, why is that the case? And in this same article, Zaria interviewed Julie Wainwright. She is the CEO and starter of The Real Real, which is a high-end consignment shop, which is incredibly successful and popular. And she says that the reason for this is that only 7% of venture capitalists are females. And because there's such a low percentage of venture capitalists that are female, it's not really showing, or it doesn't really correlate to the amount of female entrepreneurs there really are. And there's just a lot of different reasons why male venture capitalists won't always connect personally with the top of interest, even though venture capitalists are supposed to be very good at understanding targets and reading markets and understanding when a startup business idea has great potential. And clearly these numbers reflect that a lot of venture capitalists are failing the system that they should be so dedicated to understanding and knowing how the markets work. So that is the downside, specifically in entrepreneurship, but there are also tons of different ways to start up companies, not always going the venture capitalist way. And so some interesting things in progress we've seen is that between 1997 and 2015, the amount of female-owned businesses have grown by 74%. And this is according to Amy Hammerl, who is, again, a Fortune magazine journalist, in her article, The Fastest Growing Group of Entrepreneurs in America. And this has been due to a lot of innovative and new ideas that especially women are coming up with, either to sell products and different interests and things to other women, or just in general creating new businesses. Another statistic that really shows the progress of women is that women CEOs, especially in the Fortune 1000, are bringing in 3 times more than male CEOs, specifically in the S&P 500, which are all predominantly male CEOs. And this is according to Pat Weschler from Women-Led Companies Perform 3 times better than the S&P 500, which is located in Fortune magazine. And the reason for this is, as I mentioned before, the business world being predominantly male has led to a lot of glass ceilings for women in the business world. And the women CEOs are truly the best of the best because they're breaking past any stereotypes, any gender biases, and rising to the top. So these companies are receiving the best of the best, and it's clearly evident in the amount of return that they are getting on their companies compared to many other CEOs. I also want to talk about progress and great things that are happening within our own community here at Berlin High School. We have a DECA club, which is a predominantly business club, which is focusing on future leaders, emerging leaders of the world, as it is an international club. And every year we compete at states, and the top 3 winners qualify for the international competition. The past 3 years, Berlin High School has qualified, and in the past 3 years, only girls here at BHS have been the ones to go. So here is an image from the 2018 conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and this one was just taken a few weeks ago when we went to Orlando, Florida, where Audrey Feldman on the right on our far right, was able to become a top 20 finalist in the entire world in her category, which is absolutely amazing and really shows how hard we are working here and how there is a lot of future potential for women in business today. I also really was interested in the personal stories of female entrepreneurs here, just that we know personally. So the first one was Patty Murphy. She owns a shop called Salt, which is in Mystic, Connecticut. And Sharon Malsmini, as many of you know, she owns Sharon Elizabeth's here in town, which is a florist shop. And I asked both of them what their biggest successes were. And it was really interesting how both of them told me that their biggest success is able to own a business that they're so passionate about while also maintaining a family life and how important that is to them. And Patty Murphy was the perfect example. When I walked into the store to talk with her that day, she had her newborn baby strapped to her chest, working around the store, and just doing everything the way that she would, truly being driven by both her love and passion for her family and for her business. And as well with Sharon, as I spoke with her, she said how family has always been a priority for her, and she accredits that to her biggest success of being in business for 33 years as a mom and pop shop, florist shop, which, as we can see in Connecticut, a lot of mom and pop shops are absolutely declining, and it's the larger chains that are coming in, but they are still doing so successful. And again, she credits that to her passion for both her family and for her business. And now for the rest of my presentation, I want to talk about my own experience. I figured the best way to figure out what it's like to be a female entrepreneur is to go ahead and become one. So in December of 2018, I started a company called McScrunchies. And it took me a while to actually accept this as a business. It was kind of just something I wanted to do. I made some scrunchies for a Secret Santa, and I thought it was really fun, so I started selling them to other people just off of Instagram. And this experience, it really grew into way more than I ever thought it could become. I was just selling them off of Instagram, but I was able to generate a lot of different followers and customers all across the United States, in Texas, Utah, Washington, Oregon, New York, Michigan, all over. I was able to generate sales from. So I created a website to streamline orders and make it easier and more accessible. So this is my own personal website. It is www.mixscrunchies.com, and it's very user-friendly, very simple and clean to really make what's most important, the scrunchies, to pop. And you can just go in and, yeah, this is just the website that I have created. So here is where I mostly advertise for my company. As for small businesses, social media is the key way to advertise, as it is inexpensive and really successful. And I take all the pictures myself, and I try to do that as high quality as I can to really showcase what the product is. And here, this number has actually even grown, the amount of followers I have, which followers aren't everything on social media, but when it comes to being a business, those are your potential customers that you're reaching and targeting the most, and therefore it kind of predicts how many sales you will be generating. And as I said, this started in December, so I've been able to grow over about 100 followers every single month, and those are all potential new customers. And it's a lot of just using social media advertising. Here is my not even projected revenue, this is the actual revenue, and I put $7 into McScrunchies when I launched it, and in my first month I was able to make a $200 return. This progressed slowly as I continued advertising efforts, and as you can see, here is a large jump in sales, and that is one, due to advertising continuing gain new customers, and also because I ended up raising my prices by $1 for every single product. And the whole point of McScrunchies was never to make money. That wasn't why I started it. I started it because I wanted the experience. I thought it'd be really fun. But along the way, I've been gaining a lot of new customers and a lot more orders, and I was cramming them out. I had work, I go to school, and I had orders, and I make all the scrunchies handmade by myself. And talking with my customers, they agreed that they think that it'd be beneficial for me to raise the prices. So I didn't lose any customers, and in fact, as you can see, I continued to gain even more customers and make more revenue as of April. And each month I come out with a new line of scrunchies, and then the previous line is no longer available, which is a great marketing tool that I've found. I learned it from another female entrepreneur, Courtney Jean. She sells bathing suits, and she comes out with new lines, and then once the new line is released, it's no longer available, which really just generates repeat sales and pushes the product as much as it can go. And as I said, I've been really overwhelmed sometimes with the amount of things I have to do, making scrunchies, going to work, going to school, but customer feedback, when I hear messages like this, every single time it makes it so worth it. So just customers saying that they've never really worn scrunchies until they saw mine and decided that they wanted to try it out too, or they can't wait to buy something every single month, really just reminds me that I am working with everyday people, and the amount of people that I've been able to meet because of this has really been mind-blowing and one of the greatest things that I have learned. The future for McScrunchies is short. I will be concluding it in July as I'm going off to college in August, and I really want to focus all of my time and attention, especially my first semester of college. This senior year has been perfect with more study halls and free time than normal that I've been able to do this project and start this business, and I can't wait to use the things that I learned here to apply to my future career in business. And I also credit a lot of what I was able to do here with the great influences that I have had. I worked at Sharon Elizabeth and worked very closely with Sharon Malspini, and she taught me a lot of passion. And that is what kept me going through the hard times, through the struggles, was just how passionate and happy this made me, and that's truly what we should be doing and putting our time towards, and I learned that from her. So thank you so much for listening, and Lisa, we're excited. Does anyone have any questions?
How do you come up with your ideas for scrunchies? Like, that must be hard, right?
I take customer feedback because as a business owner, the customer is most important.